Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this boubou gown with a V-neckline design and mixed fabrics. It's very beginner friendly, so if you're interested in this, make sure to watch until the end. And also, if you're interested in such content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified each time I post. Alright, let's get right into the video. So for starters, we're going to be folding the fabric 4 times. We shall fold it once, just like you see in the video, and then the second time, just like you see in the video. And then at the top there is where we're going to start our measurements. But first, to get how much you're going to put on fold, you're going to use half of your shoulder measurements plus your sleeve length plus the sewing allowance. Also, don't forget that the sleeve length we're using for this part is only for the yellow fabric. So at this point, we've already subtracted the 2.5 inches for the green fabric. So moving on, we're going to get our vertical measurement. So our shoulder to bust line is 10.5 inches, which I'm going to mark there. And then our shoulder to waist is 17 inches, which I'm going to mark as well. And then our shoulder to hips is 28 inches, which I'll mark here as well. And then the full length is 34 inches. Plus 1.5 inches of sewing allowance. So I'll mark the 34 inches and then 1.5 inches of sewing allowance below it. And I'll go ahead and draw the lines. That's the bust line, the waistline, the hip line, and the full length line, as well as the sewing allowance line. So after we're done with that, we're going to start by marking our back neckline. So from that point, we're going to go in by 2.5 inches. And then we shall go down by 1.5 inches. Then we shall just draw a curve. Then from that corner, we shall also measure half of our shoulder measurements, which is 7 inches. And then from that 7-inch mark, we shall measure our sleeve length of 11.5 inches plus 0.5 inches of sewing allowance, which makes it 12 inches. Then from that point, we're going to just go down and measure our sleeve opening. And in this case, I'm going to be using 11 inches. So I'll just go ahead and mark that. So we're going to get this very measurement, which is 19 inches. Then I'll transfer it to that sleeve opening line and then mark it there. Then I'll just join those points as you've seen in the video. And then I'll also elongate the line at the bottom, just like you see me do. So on the bust line, we're going to get a quarter of our bust measurements, which is 9 inches for me, plus 3.5 inches of ease, plus 0.5 inches of sewing allowance. And then on the waistline, we shall get a quarter of our waist measurements, which is 7.5 plus 3.5 inches of ease, plus 0.5 inches of sewing allowance. Then on the hips, we shall get a quarter of our hips measurement, plus 3.5 inches of ease, plus 0.5 inches of sewing allowance. And then I'll just transfer those very measurements to the full length line. So we shall just go ahead and join all those points, just like you see me do in the video. So when you're joining the waistline to the sleeve opening line, we're just going to form a slight curve, just like you see in the video. Also, an extra tip, if you don't want to have a curve and you just want to have an A-line structure, you can just join from that point all the way to the hip line, just like you see me do in the video. But of course, in this video, I'm going to be using my waistline. So as you can see, I've just cut through the waistline and that's what it's looking like. We shall also go ahead and cut out the back neckline. And after we're done with that, we're then going to open up the fabric just like you see me do in the video. And then we shall position the pieces just like this. So one side will be for the back and then the other side will be for the front. And so we're going to cut out the piece for the front. So for the front, we shall be measuring out that 2.5 and then we shall just go downwards just like you see me do in the video. Just measure 2.5 and then we shall draw a straight line. I've already finished doing that and then we shall just cut out that part. Make sure to keep this piece because I'll be using it later. So I'm just going to pin it and keep it aside. After we're done with that, we shall just open up the fabric like this. And so we shall be cutting out the green pieces for that center piece of the neckline and also for the sleeves. So to get the length for the neckline piece, we're going to measure all the way to the other side. But another way is you can just measure it up to the center back, just like you see me do, and then multiply it by 2 to get the full length. So mine is 44.5 times 2. So in this clip, I've already cut out the piece, and when you open it up, it's going to be 6 inches wide, and then on fold, it's going to be 3 inches. But then we shall just be using this former piece that I told you to keep, and so we shall just be adding 0.5 inches to that width. So as you can see, I cut out 2 separate pieces which I'm going to just go and join by 0.5 inches to make the long length of the neckline band. So moving forward, I also cut out 2 similar pieces for the sleeve, and it's going to be 3 inches on fold and then 6 inches when you open it up. As you can see, I made them slightly longer than the sleeve length, but I'll just be trimming off the excess when I join them. So we shall just be joining them right sides facing each other, just like that. And then we shall be stitching it by 0.5 inches of sewing allowance. As you can see in this clip, I'm already done doing that. I also overlocked the raw edges and then pressed it with the flat iron to stay in position like that. The next thing we're going to be doing is we shall be working with the neckline band. As you can see in the clip, I've already joined the 2 pieces, and then I also ironed the fabric on fold. So what we're going to do next is we're going to place the pieces just like you see me do. We shall get the center of the pieces exactly at that seam line, and then we shall place it right sides facing each other, meaning the wrong side is out. Then we shall make sure that the fold lines are aligning on both the top and bottom piece. After that, we shall get our neckline opening, where we shall be positioning the tape measure just like you see in that first picture. But then make sure that that measurement is able to pass through your head just like you see in the second picture. So in my case, mine is 27 inches. So we shall then be getting half of 27 inches, which is 13.5, and then we shall place it just like you see in the video, and then we're going to mark where it stops. And starting from that point, we're going to stitch it all the way down along the center line. So in this clip, I've already finished doing that. As you can see, I've already stitched from that point all the way to the bottom. And so now we shall just open it up like this. I'll just be putting it back on fold. Just follow what I'm doing in the video, and that's how yours should turn out as well. So after placing it in this position, you're now ready to go to the next stage. We're going to get the center line of the band, just like you see in the video, and then we shall match it with the center back of the main fabric. And so right sides facing each other, we shall place it like that, and then we're going to be stitching it down, but I'm just going to first pin it just to show you. And then also on the other side, we shall be doing that, right sides facing each other. And so we shall just keep doing that up to the bottom, right sides facing each other. We shall just keep stitching it down all the way to the bottom. I realized that if you turn it to the wrong side, it's actually much easier to sew in. I'll be showing you what I mean in the next clip. So yes, we shall also be turning it to the other side and pinning it down. So this is what I was telling you in the next clip. Of course, at this point, I've already finished sewing it down, but as you can see, it's definitely easier if you stitch it on the wrong side. But yes, that's what it's going to look like. Also, make sure to go and overlock the raw edges. When we turn it to the right side, that's also what it's looking like. So next, we're going to cut the pockets. I've already folded this fabric 4 times. Then I've marked out the pocket shape around my hand. I've already showed you how to do this in multiple videos of mine, but yes, that's how it's going to be looking. Also, make sure that it's right sides facing each other like that. Those ones are right sides facing each other, and then also those ones are right sides facing each other. And so yes, I'm just going to continue cutting it out, and that's what it looks like. I'll just go ahead and separate the pieces just like you see in the video. Make sure to mark the wrong sides as well. So now we're going to install our pockets. Make sure that on the main piece, the right side is outside, and also just position the piece properly before you start taking the measurements. So we shall measure 17 inches from the shoulder, just like you see, and then we shall mark it both on the top piece and the bottom piece, just like you see me do in the video, or let me say the front and the back piece. Then we shall get one of the pocket pieces and make sure it's positioned like that, where the piece is facing downwards, and then right sides facing each other, we shall place it in position, and then we shall pin it down just like you see, and we're only pinning it to the top piece. Then we shall flip it to the back, and then at that point where we marked the 17 inches, we shall place the other piece right sides facing each other, and then we shall place it like that, pin it down, and then we shall be sewing it in by 0.5 inches of sewing allowance. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew it down on both of the pieces. Also, we shall be repeating that same process the other side. As you can see, I've already done that. So in this clip, as you can see, I've already finished doing that. I already sewed them on all the pieces, right sides facing each other. And then I ironed out the pieces just like that, in that position. And I repeated the same process on the other side as well. So now we're going to be flipping it back to the wrong side. So after we're done organizing and aligning the pieces properly, we're then going to sew the side seam just exactly where my finger is passing through. That center part of the pocket won't be sewn, so we shall just go and pass exactly there and just come in by 0.5 inches, move out by 0.5 all the way around, and then we shall repeat the same process that side. So as you can see in this clip, I've already done that. I've already sewed it on both sides. And so the last thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be folding in the hem, just like you see in the video. We shall just be folding it by 1.5 inches of sewing allowance, and then we shall be stitching it down. And in this clip, I'm already done doing that, just like you can see in the video. And so we shall just press it down with a flat iron, and then that's basically it, guys. If you found the video helpful, make sure to leave a like and a comment. Also, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button in case you're interested in such content, and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything that I post. Alright guys, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.